Alright, what's happening, y'all? Today's vlog, yet again, is going to be a little bit different than the normal vlog. I've had something on my mind lately, and I want to kind of just verbalize it and talk about it because it's on my mind. And that is the concept of bulking and being at like an extreme caloric surplus juxtaposed to like a contest prep and cutting, because they're like opposite ends of the spectrum, and there's a lot of psychological, a lot that goes along with that. There's a lot of like physical, like the changes are such a contrast being at opposite ends of the spectrum. So I just want to kind of verbalize that. I've had several clients that have competed this weekend and last weekend, and they're all talking to me about how hungry they are, which I can totally relate with. I mean, every time I go into a contest prep, I'm just starving. Compared to how I feel personally now, eating 6,000 calories, where I'm just like, oh, the last thing I want to do is eat another bite. And I want to talk about that because it's relevant, and I think people would benefit from it, even if they're not in a competition or a competitor or standing on stage. So I just want to kind of talk about the mindset and psychology that goes behind and along with, being at those opposite ends of the spectrum. When you're at one spot, the grass is always greener on the other side. Like when you're in a competition prep and you're just hungry and you're, like trying to lick your bowl, lick your plate to get every little morsel of food you can, all you can think about is just eating. For me right now, like I said, the last thing I want to do is take another bite. I'm more like, I wish I was in their position. I wish I was just depleted and almost like just starving, because I just don't like the feel of just force feeding myself, which is basically what I'm doing now with the 6,000 calories. Some days I'm hungry, other days, like today, the last thing I want to do is eat. And that's what I have to do. So for one, when you're in one position or the other, it's easy to fixate on the other side, and it distracts from the moment you're in, because, similar to the whole grass is green on the other side principle, you're always looking at what you don't have. Like you're comparing yourself to others that are in abundance or at a deficit, and you're wishing you were in their position, and that distracts from the sensation and the emotions that go along with the moment you're currently in. So recognize that and realize that had you been on the other side, you'd probably wish you were in the position you're in now. So don't take away from your current situation. Like, just soak it all in and take advantage of it, make the most of it. And then I want to talk about from like a physical standpoint, what is the benefit from playing on those two opposite ends of the spectrum? Like when you're in a contest prep and you're trying to get down to, single-digit body fat, like it's going to come with some hunger. I don't care what diet you're on. Like no matter what diet you're on, if you're going to go on stage, you're going to be hungry that last, few weeks, even few months. And that's just the reality of the sport of bodybuilding. And that's okay, and that's part of it. Yet you have to just take that with it. It's hard. That's what makes it a beautiful thing, because it's like so much of a challenge to sacrifice and go without the food that's readily available to you to come in that condition and look like that for that short amount of time. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, you're bulking up, you're trying to eat at a surplus so that your body's more likely to build muscle mass and put on extra tissue, build muscle tissue, and you're just like, I don't want to eat, I'm full, this is beyond what feels natural. And these concepts may be odd to somebody that's kind of always more middle of the road and doesn't live on the extremes, but I'm all about the extremes. Like I'm an extremist at heart, and I've always been and always will be. So I'm always kind of on one side or the other. But leveraging that and knowing that there are kind of two sides of the coin is key, and I don't think a lot of people really fixate on that. For instance, me being at 6,000 calories right now, which I don't think is necessary, like you don't necessarily need to be at 6,000 calories, but being at 6,000 calories and feeling as full as I am, and just almost disgusted with the idea of taking another bite. Like right now it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I have to eat 4,000 calories still. I hate that. I hate it. I would much rather just like fast and be like dialed in mentally, because I mean, you lose some of that when you're eating a whole bunch of a surplus. Like I lose some of the mental clarity. I wake up more exhausted, more lethargic throughout the day. Like it's not optimal. But being in this state like I am right now makes me so much more appreciative of being at a deficit, sacrificing, going without. And it makes me much more likely to really take full advantage of that moment when I'm in it. So when I'm in a contest prep, I fixate on how disgusted I am with the thought of food right now, so that I'm less likely to go for that extra, bite of something and beyond my macros when I'm in a contest prep. So knowing and familiarizing yourself with both ends of the spectrum makes you appreciate where you're at in the moment that much more. And again, unless you've kind of been on both ends of the spectrum, this may be a little harder to relate with, but having been in a contest prep and now being, in a surplus like I have been in the past, I've really just honed in on that, and I like stick it in my pocket and keep it for later, because the feelings and the emotions and the thoughts that I'm going through now in a surplus, I'll be able to pull that out when I'm in a contest prep, 3 weeks out from the show, and all I want to do is eat. I could fixate on how I feel now and just know that in this moment I wish I was at that point 3 weeks out and just starving. Like appreciating where you're at, knowing the opposite side of the other side isn't anything better, it's just different. But that's kind of vague. I don't know if any of y'all are gonna get anything from this or not, but that's been on my mind a lot. And it's harder to see the other side when you're in the fray. Like when you're 3 weeks out from a contest and you're depleted and you just want to eat, it's hard to think about how I feel right now and vice versa. But making note of that, and I mean honestly just having this video for me to look back on next time I'm in a contest prep or on the other side of the spectrum is going to be beneficial for me. So that's my thought there. The normal vlog will resume tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Love ya. Peace out. Take care. Toodaloo, and have a good one.